Morning, everyone. Well, it's May 6th, 2025, Tuesday, a regular Board of Supervisors meeting. It's 10 a.m. And I've asked Sherry Grice if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And then, Marin, would you be happy to offer our prayer this morning after that? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here today in service to the people of Gila County. Please grant us the wisdom, guidance, and discernment to hear your voice among all the voices that we hear every day. Help us tune out the noise and focus on your will, that we may serve your people. In your name, amen.
Thank you.
Oh, and I guess I'll just stay here.
We'll go too far. Okay, item 2A, presentations. Presentation of Gila County General Fund financial data as it compares to the fiscal year 2025 Gila County budget and fiscal years 24, 23, 22, 21, and 20, and 19 year-to-date performance. Good morning again.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Supervisor Humphrey, Supervisor Klein. I know that you have a very busy agenda and many people here today, so I will keep this short. This is our monthly update, which we will include with the annual budget book when we publish that for 2026. The highlights for today are just that we are very close to target for general fund revenues at the end of February. At the end of February, general fund revenues were at 65% of the target, 65% of the budget compared to a 67% target for the 8 months year to date. We are $3.28 million less than the prior year because of the State Department of Veterans Services $3 million grant that we received as one-time funding in the prior year. Without that, the only difference is $227,000 due to the timing of state shared excise tax. General fund expenditures are at 69% of the budget compared to an 8-month target of 67%, and are about $1.5 million more than the prior year. That year-over-year difference is attributable to salaries and EREs and where we're keeping departments in general fund as opposed to being split out, and those are all as expected. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Marin. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no question. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Neither do I. Thank you, Marin.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, good report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll be
Right.
back next month.
Okay, appreciate you. Item 3A is part of our public hearing, information, discussion, action to adopt resolution number 25-05-01, authorizing an increase in the fees charged by the Gila County Justice Courts and Superior Court as outlined in the Judicial Administrative Fee Schedule, which will go into effect on July 1, 2025. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. On February 25th, I presented at a board work session asking for review and input on the judicial fee schedule. I certainly appreciated the candor, questions, and direction provided as a result of that meeting, and we incorporated the feedback and input of the board into an updated proposal. We feel that the updated proposal is in the best interest of Gila County. Judicial fees will provide us a funding stream to fund unfunded mandates. The board is authorized to approve local fees to defray service expenses associated with the implementation of these mandates. And I use the term defray intentionally. That is the term used in the statute that authorizes the fees, and our fee proposal certainly aligns with the requirements in statute. The implementation of judicial fees requires a public hearing. Notice of public hearing ran for 3 weeks in the Payson Roundup. The notification also advised the public that they could receive a copy of the proposed fee schedule by contacting court administration. We received no inquiries. And now I believe the proposal is ripe for board decision.
Thank you, John. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no question, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Jonathan, thank you. I'm good as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. And a lot of people say, well, it's not a lot of money or whatever, but we can't charge whatever we want. We're not going to make money. People need to know that this is to offset the costs so that the burden is not just strictly on taxpayers, but on those who are in the court.
Exactly.
And so thank you very much for that. And so with that, I'll close that discussion and open it up for public hearing. Is there anyone here in Globe or on the internet or in Payson that wishes to speak to this item? Okay, I will then close the public hearing portion, call for a motion on item 3A.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 25-05-01.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Item 3B, also public hearing, information, discussion, action to adopt ordinance number 2025-01, vacation rentals and short-term rentals, and repeal previously adopted ordinance number 2023-08, vacation rental and short-term rental uses. Good morning, Randy.
Morning, supervisors. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Hopefully this goes as quick as the last two have. So again, we are here. We have already adopted an ordinance. We're here to repeal that prior ordinance and adopt the new ordinance. We've worked with the group of people that have talked before. We've had several work sessions that I'm sure you guys all remember, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have as we move forward.
Thank you, Randy. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, Randy, I just want to say that I appreciate the communication back and forth to change these ordinances, to work with them as we feel best fit, and to also the people with them, because it's a difficult deal reinventing the wheel. And so I appreciate the flexibility in being able to work with the people as much as we can and still be within legal bounds. So thank you very much.
Supervisor Klein.
Randy, thanks. And there's been a lot of time spent on this, and so hopefully we're at the point with our folks' help to pull this together and get back on the right track. The only one thing I want to ask you and make sure we still have that commitment is there's folks out there that are working with whatever it is, one of those tough sheds for rentals or older RVs or the teepee issue. You made the commitment before that you would work with these people to help, work with them to bring them up to snuff where they need to be to use them. And we're still on board with that, correct?
We're still on board with that. Again, there'll be some hurdles that have to get over. But yes, we will commit to working with them to achieve what they want to do with those structures.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, Randy, just to let everyone know, this our legal department recommended the repeal and reinstatement of the new document, just because that's what they recommended rather than just calling it a revised something. And much of the changes that have been made are as a result of the public input. And I see that most of the changes also ease up on the regulations a lot, especially when it comes to the sex offender thing. That was a real hot topic, and so we've eliminated a lot of the concerns. We've actually lowered the price slightly, so that's where we're at.
And I will say that I've worked quite well with the county attorney and the attorney for one of the groups in this. We've worked closely with all of them trying to achieve what we have before you today.
Okay, thank you, Randy, for all you've done and everyone involved. So I'll close the comments now and open it up for public hearing. We'll just go through this systematically. With us here in Globe, in the Board of Supervisors, is Mr. Bob Turner. He lives in Young, and he's been before us on other occasions with regard to this. Come on up, please. And I'd like to, unless you have something super profound, we'll fit it into 3 minutes.
Yeah, it should be pretty quick. Thank you
Okay.
for letting me speak. Just a couple house cleaning items and then a couple concerns that some of the owners had. Mr. Klein already covered one of the big concerns, or huge concern. as far as a lot of the owners are just curious, is how is this gonna come to effect? Are we gonna be notified? Do we have to get a hold of the county? Is there paperwork already in place that we're gonna receive? And, one of the concerns was that the effective date on it is June 2nd, and we don't think that's enough time to get everything done. That's less than a month away. So we'd like to see that pushed back to like at least 60 days where we can get all our paperwork in and everything done. One of the things I think would be important too is when when somebody applies for the permit, there's the document that they want posted. This is under 3.6.12, the document they want posted on the doorway that has the rules and everything. If the county could provide that with the owners when they get their permit, then that way we know we have the official paperwork that you want posted in the houses or whatever the case may be. As well as there's a neighborhood document notification form that the county wants to have filled out to advise your neighbors that you're having a short-term rental, and that would also be nice if the county could provide that. Another one of the concerns was, and we're kind of unsure on this, is the number of permits. So like if you have 2 short-term rentals on one property, is that 1 permit per parcel, or is that 2 separate permits? I know it's covered in here, and I can't remember where it was. It's covered in there now. It says that you have to have, if it's under 1 roof, you have to have 1 for each unit. But if you have 2 places on a parcel, do they require 2 permits, or is it 1 permit per parcel? I noticed in 3.2.1 under the allowing a sex offender to stay at your place, it's still not worded. It is in 2.8.1, intentionally or knowingly housing to or allowing a sex offender, and in 3.2.1 it's not worded that way, and I think that should be amended. And I believe that's all the concerns that everybody had. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Turner. And I presume that Randy can get with you on answering some of those questions. Okay, we also then have Mr. Key. Is he in Payson? Okay. Let me clarify if there's anyone else here in Globe that wishes to speak to this in the public hearing. No. And anybody on the internet? No. Okay. So Mr. Key, Hal Key is a resident also of Young. Go ahead.
My name's Hal Key. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I live at 295 South Rolling Hills Road, Young. I'm a licensed fire protection engineer, licensed mechanical engineer, former chairman of the International Code Council Existing Building Code Development Committee. I've also served on the national level on code development committees for the International Code Council. And my concern, I want to commend you for all the work that's been done in the last year and a half. I'm glad you took our concerns to heart and made the revisions. I have one concern though, only because I'm not, well, let me rephrase that. My one concern is those unusual structures. There's imaginative structures out there, unusual structures that don't fit the letter of the building code. The building code, by definition, is a prescriptive code. In other words, it tells you what you have to do in very specific terms. But there's also in every building code, in the administrative section of the building code, a section that's called alternate means and methods, which allows the designer to show that they're meeting the intent of the building code without meeting the letter of the building code, if that makes sense. And I'm not sure I have confidence in the Gila County Building Department to be able to make those determinations on unusual structures. One of the things that the International Code Council does is certify building officials. And you know that typically because those individuals are usually very proud of that certification. And they will, the words CDO will be listed after their name on their business cards. that's where my concern is with the building department. I don't know that we have a certified building official within the Gila County Building Department. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Key. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in Payson that wishes to speak to this item? No. Okay, thank you, Tyler. So with that, I will close the public hearing portion, and I'll go ahead and reach back out to Supervisor Humphrey.
Can I just bring one more thing up real quick?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Adam Baugh, he couldn't make it today because of conflict schedule, or schedule conflict. Anyways, the one question he had was, is before, when we were talking about this before, we were talking about the occupancy. And one of the things that they had put in the thing is changed it to the International Building Code, which we agree with. But it also had that it was, if there was children 5 and under, they didn't apply. And that was removed on this one, and we were just wondering why that was removed. Just got to ask that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I will close the public hearing portion right now, and Randy comes back to the podium. Supervisor Humphrey, do you have any comments or questions?
I don't, other than, like I said, reinventing the wheel is a difficult thing, and things will probably need to be worked out for a long time to come, and we'll get to this, and there will be people that'll have short-term rentals in Gila County that haven't had or haven't been through all this process, and they're gonna wanna know what the heck's been going on. So I think this is, anytime you create something new, there's always gonna be issues and things to work with. But so far, I think as a board and as a Randy and the building codes and things, I think we've shown that we're willing to work with people and try to do what's right for everybody and for the constituents and people that visit Gila County. So that's my only comment.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we've come a long ways on this, and obviously there's going to be some things still that will work and some things that will not work. And as an ordinance, we can come back and readdress it 6 months, a year, whatever it is. And so it's more or less, in a figure of speech, it's a working document as well. And I listened to Mr. Keys and Mr. Turner and all that on all this, and I do rely heavily on you, Randy, to work with these folks. That's all I'm saying. And there's a lot of good people out there that's going to need help to bring their whatever they have up to snuff, and I think I really do. And from a county standpoint, I'm hoping we keep that in sight. And also I do understand, in 6 months, and if it's falling apart or something needs changed, we'll bring it up to you, Joe, and work on it then. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Randy, for all you've done. It has been quite a journey, and there was never an intention to harm the short-term rental businesses, just to make sure there's things in place to protect the neighborhood or the neighbors and everything, to where everybody kind of knows what the limitations are and things like that. And so I don't believe it's ever been a desire of mine or the others to actually create ordinances. That's kind of a thing, that's like one of those, you don't want to go that far. But I do believe we all agree that we have to have something, and now we have something to look at and vote on. So,
And for supervisor's knowledge, I have been a certified building official for 15 plus years. So we're good on the code.
right. Okay. And we will look at it as often as needed. So
Yes.
we do that all the time. So with that, then I'll close the discussion and call for a motion on item 3B.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-01 and repeal previously adopted ordinance number 2023-08.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second, and this will require a unanimous vote if to pass. Is that correct?
No, it does
No.
not.
Okay.
The tower that we talked about earlier might.
Okay, that one. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward on to our regular agenda items. Item 4A, I'm going to call for a motion to recess as the Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
So move, Mr. Chair.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Item 4A, information, discussion, action to approve library service agreements between the Gila County Library District and the following entities. The City of Globe, $131,900. Isabel Hunt Library Board, $127,300. Town of Miami, $61,300. Town of Payson, $275,300. San Carlos Public Library, $41,000. Tonto Basin Public Library, $84,000, and Pleasant Valley Community Library Board for the Young Public Library, $65,700, all of which will begin on July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors. Thank you for this morning. This is our annual library service agreement renewals for fiscal year 2026. The agenda item includes 7 of our libraries. The next agenda item right behind this will be our renewal for the Hayden Library. This year's funding will remain the same as last year's. With the uncertainty in the federal government we're currently seeing, the library districts wanted to make sure that we committed to the libraries and were able to fund at this value, so it's the same as last year. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Elaine. So with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve library service agreements for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Item number 4B, information, discussion, action to approve a library service agreement between the Gila County Library District and the town of...
No,
this is still library.
I'm still standing here.
There will be order. Okay. Thank you for that. Trying to keep me straight. That's good. 4B, let's start over. Information, discussion, action to approve a library service agreement between the Gila County Library District and the town of Hayden for the Hayden Public Library in the amount of $59,750 for the period of July 1, 25 to June 30th, 26. Elaine.
Hello once again. The Hayden Library is run as a branch under the Gila County Library District. The library service agreement with Hayden states that we will run the library, employ staff, provide library programming, continue to add the collection, and pay the utilities. The town of Hayden in turn provides the building for free, no charge, and agrees to maintain it. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions.
Supervisor Klein.
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, me as well. I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the library services agreement with the town of Hayden for the Hayden Public Library for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
With that, I'll call for a motion now to adjourn as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Item 4C, information, discussion, action. Ratify the Board of Supervisors' approval for the board chairman to sign the offer and acceptance form that is part of grant application RFGA number 2025-005, which was submitted to the Arizona Department of Health Services regarding the Arizona Health Zone SNAP Ed program for fiscal year 2026. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. So this is a grant we've had for the last 10 years now. We've had 2 5-year cycles. We applied to extend for another 5-year cycle. With the grant, we have 3 full-time staff. We use it mostly for helping out with the Payson Community Gardens. We teach classes like My Plate, Food Pyramid, Building Better Bones, calcium stuff in schools. Some of the work we did, we tried to help out with Miami with the stairs project. So a lot of good things come out of this. Mostly it's a percentage of the TANF for the food stamp dollars, if you remember the old terms, that goes towards education to make sure that people understand the better ways to eat and spend those dollars. So like I said, it's not actually an award yet. This was an interesting grant where we had to sign the acceptance letter when we submitted the grant, so we don't actually know that we're going to get the award yet. But that's why this is one of the more interesting ones for us, and why we had to come back and kind of do an immediate ask for Supervisor Christensen, because we didn't know that we had back there. So if there are any questions around that, that's what happened there, and I think that's all I have for it.
Thank you, Josh. Supervisor Humphrey?
No, nothing other than thank you for reaching for all the grants you can to help us with all you do.
Supervisor Klein?
Josh, how much money's involved in this grant? Just, I mean, it could fluctuate, I understand that, but.
We get, I have to look up here again, I think we asked for 320,000 a year for the next 5 years, so it's a good amount.
Yeah.
And if you're asking, because, yeah, right now I think I have 9 of my grants are all zeroed out on the Health and Human Services budget for the next budget year, so there'll be a lot more conversations, I assume, here in the next few months about how the budget turns out, and this is one of them.
I'm sure there will be. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to ratify the Board of Supervisors' approval for the Board Chairman to sign the offer and acceptance form that is part of grant application RFGA number 2025-005, which was submitted to the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Joshua. Item 4D, information discussion action to approve an IGA with the town of Payson to provide 2 10-yard roll-off bins and $8,000 to support the town's annual Household Hazardous and Electronic Waste Day event to be held on May 17th, 2025. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Klein, Supervisor Humphrey. The Gila County Public Works Department is seeking approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the town of Payson to support its annual Household and Electronic Waste Day event. Under the proposed agreement, Gila County would provide 2 10-yard roll-off bins and a contribution of $8,000 for 1 year with the option to renew for up to 3 additional 1-year terms. Gila County has supported this event since 2021, with the exception of 2023 when the event was canceled. In 2022, the town of Payson successfully collected and safely disposed of 51,454 pounds of hazardous waste. For the 2025 event, Recycling and Landfill Management has committed to providing the roll-off bins and the $8,000 contribution to offset vendor costs, which last year totaled $73,743.33. These efforts play a crucial role in diverting dangerous waste from our local landfills, which we're not permitted or able to process. So it's a valuable event going forward for the community. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Is this out of general fund?
This is being paid for by the landfill fund. So it's out of our enterprise fund, not the general fund.
Okay, then I guess my question is what about the town of Globe, town of Miami, town of Hayden?
So
Is this something that we can do for our other towns and cities?
So as it stands currently, we don't have any agreements with any other towns or cities, but I have reached out to the Globe Public Works Department. We're going to be reaching out to the town of Miami to find out, one, do they do a household hazardous waste event, and would they like us to partner with them going forward to help assisting in that? Because ultimately, it doesn't just benefit the communities that perform the events, it benefits our landfills as well. It's a benefit for the county. And we are interested in expanding that further than it currently is.
I think there would be interest because anytime they've asked for roll-offs or something, I've helped them with cleanup days through constituent funds. And I think we're even doing one for Deer Creek Village on Thursday.
Yes.
And so that, is what I get billed through constituent funds. So I think a lot of these communities would be interested in an agreement such as this with the landfill, because if hazardous waste is concerning with our landfills, then we need to check with our other cities and places as well to make it that much safer.
Correct. And we have begun that process. We're just not far enough along that
I can't answer any further, but we are interested in partnering with the other towns and cities within the county.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Supervisor Klein.
Aaron, I agree with what Supervisor Humphrey said. I think when we start these deals and it's a benefit, like you're saying, for our landfill, we need to reach out to all of our people out there and see what we can do, set these up, whether it's incorporated or unincorporated. And so if I would like to see that done. The other thing of it is the $8,000, what are they gonna use that for?
The $8,000 goes for offsetting the vendor costs for the companies that have to come in that actually provide for the removal of that hazardous waste, because it has to go to whether it's various recyclers or different off-site landfills that are able to process that waste. Ultimately, that has to be paid to be removed. So that's a contribution that we make to help out with that cost.
Okay. And this is coming out of the enterprise fund?
Correct.
All right. Well, I just find that kind of I don't know, interesting. I mean, we could have, our money guy's sitting over there, so if he's giving me the nod, then that's where it needs to come from. But if you guys could reach out to the rest of our areas for this, that would be good.
I'd be more than happy to do that,
Thank
Supervisor.
you, Aaron.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we don't want hazardous waste. What kind of waste are we talking about? Is this paint or?
So essentially, it can go anything from chemicals that you might find ranging from antifreeze to different types of oils that we can't take. You might find certain types of lights, electronics, batteries. These are items that we can't have breaking down within our landfills because we're not permitted or equipped to handle it. So flammable aerosols, any type of household chemical that could be considered hazardous to throw in the trash is what these events take care of.
Okay. And so I agree that you should do some homework and report back to see how we can expand this offering, even if we don't have partners, to see if we can help with hazardous waste.
I'd be more than happy to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement with the town of Payson to support the town's annual Household Hazardous and Electronic Waste Day event as presented.
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Item 4E, information, discussion, action to approve modification 002 to Forest Service Road Project Agreement number 22RO110312000184, which updates administrative contacts and extends the term of the agreement from 3/10/25 to 9/30/25. Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board of Supervisors. As you know, we have numerous agreements with the Forest Service working on various projects throughout the county. This will be the first of several that I will be bringing before you guys over the next few weeks. This agreement right here is a modification of the existing agreement we've had in place for the last few years on Forest Service Road 512, Young Highway. This agreement this is a request from the Forest Service to update the agreement with our proper contact information. Currently, it has former Director Vela's name down as the primary contact, so this will update that. And currently, it expired, and so we'll need this agreement to extend to the end of their contract year, which will be September 30th, 2025.
Okay. All right, so it's just cleaning up a couple things on the contract. Okay, Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, I think it's great. Any movement we have with this, we need them to be able to contact us with that and reach the right person. So I think it's a good deal.
Supervisor Klein.
Alex, thank you, but I have a question. I thought this was supposed to be done last March.
You're right, it was. So with the new federal government, there was a delay in making sure everything got done. And so Based on that, this agreement was then rewritten by them and requested by them to make this extension.
From the feds?
From the feds.
Didn't we contract all this out already to have Kimley Horn do it, or some company do it to begin with? The environmental part of it?
Correct. Yes, it was Kimley Horn and Associates, and yes, it was supposed to be done by March 30th.
What involvement did the feds have on that process? I mean, last I knew it was going really well, and actually the feds were telling me that this should be kind of like a spotlight project as good as it was going.
Right. So at the point that we had left it last year, it was Kimley Horn working with the Forest Service on getting all of their P's and Q's aligned, and that's where we had left it. So yes, it was an ideal project. However, it's now been pushed out for a few more months.
Well, see, these are the things that frustrate me. They really do. We spend tons of money on these projects, and then something like this comes up, and it's like, and when I got everybody telling me it's a good project, things are on schedule, it's gonna end, and be done with it in March, yada, 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 and then this hits us. So, if you guys would, I would like to be kept informed. If this isn't going like it needs to be, we need to know.
I agree with that. Part of this is out of our hands. This is between the Forest Service and Kimley Horn on their side of things.
Totally understand that. Totally do. And we can go to the Forest Service, and Kimley Horn's under contract with us. And see, that's what I'm saying. When I'm getting a little touchy on these consultants signing these contracts, and all of a sudden we're extending contracts. And it seems like we do that about 100% of the time. And so I think it's time we maybe held some people's feet to the fire. You know, they know what they're into when they get in there. I know the government's had some shakeups, but the government also was the ones relying on Kimley Horn to get all this done. So we really need to be kept abreast of this, because I don't like it, to be honest with you. And it's not our fault, I agree. Totally agree, it's not our fault. But just let us know.
We'll do better about keeping you in the loop.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, Tom.
Thank you. So I just want to say some of the delays are the review periods. So for the EA to be finalized, it has to be reviewed by the Tonto National Forest. It has to be reviewed by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It has to be reviewed by Arizona Game and Fish. A lot of these reviews are taking longer than we anticipated and longer than Kimley Horn anticipated. For instance, the Tonto National Forest, a lot of times the people that have to do the reviews, they get pulled off to maybe go fight a fire or go help manage a fire. They get pulled off for all kinds of different assignments that it's hard to anticipate. So that is why we're seeing a lot of these delays. I just don't want everybody to think it's strictly Kimley Horn's fault. They've been working as best as they can.
So Tom, thank you for that. And you're not wrong. But I will tell you that in the NEPA process, there's deadlines that you meet. There's review periods that's outlined in those processes, whether it's 45 days or whatever from the time it's turned in. If that's not happening, even on the federal level, we need to know about that, is what I'm saying. We need to know. The government's famous for running off the fires and playing. That's what they'll do. And that's BS, to be totally honest with you. When we have projects going on and they sign agreements or they're part of a process, they need to be held to the fire just as well as Kimley Horn or anybody else we deal with. But we need to know that. You know, we can make those phone calls. We can go have those conversations with them, and we can push to have things like this. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've sat here for over 8 years and see things drag out and drag out and drag out. And I've got 3.5 years more to go, and I'm not gonna sit here and see that. So if there's something going on, don't just hold it in your department to yourselves. By all means, reach out to me, to the board, whatever it takes, and we can start addressing these things. We're the ones coming up with that money. We're the ones paying the price. to have this done. We should have some say-so on a timely manner in getting these completed. You know, because you look at this, we're a year behind, basically. That's what
Correct.
we are.
Yes.
And when I go to these town hall meetings or Steve sits on KMOG and we talk about the 512 and how we're making progress, and then we turn around and look at this and we're a year behind, oh, that don't sit well with me at all. So just please keep us informed.
Yes, sir. You're correct.
Yeah, thank you guys for all that you do. So with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve modification 002 to Forest Service Road Project Agreement Number 22-R0-11031200-184 as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Item 4F, information discussion action, authorize the advertisement of invitation for bids number 0224-2025, Gibson Ranch Road roadway improvement project. Alex.
Good morning again, Mr. Chair and Board of Supervisors. This is the Gibson Ranch roadway improvement project. Dibble Engineering has provided us with plans and specs. We actually brought this back before you guys back in November, and then there was a mishap with the chip seal project in Gila, and so we pulled back and reevaluated this project in light of that project, and we're now pleased to bring it back before you and ready to go out for bid for this project.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Alex, I'm good. I understand the delay on this and everything. This is an important project. I'm gonna just say that straight up. And so if there's any changes, please tell me.
We will let you know.
Alex, is this about a 4-mile project?
2.5 miles, sir.
2.5, okay. Yeah, I've been on that road. It's actually nicer to drive off the road, so very needed. Thank you. With that, I will call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to authorize advertisement of invitation for bids number 022-42025.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, 4G is information discussion action to adopt a revised Public Works Department policy number PWS 011, tool replacement. Good morning, Mr. White.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors. The next 4 items on here are kind of closely related. They're related to the inspection that we recently had with the Arizona Department of Occupational Safety and Health. What we found out after that is we just have a couple of our policies that just needed some cleaning up. Most of them just needed some minor revisions. So on this first one for the tool policy, one of the things that we needed to add to make sure we're more in line with how the regulations are written, for our tool replacement policy, we just needed to add in there that when we're doing the inventory on an annual basis, that we need to actually do an inspection of the tools with that inventory, just to make sure everything's in working order. So we added that into the policy, and that's really the only change on this first one. I can go through the other ones real quick, or we can do
No,
them
let's
one at a
just do
time.
them one at a time. We'll
Okay.
do that. Supervisor Humphrey, anything?
Oh, yeah. One, I guess my question would be, when our techs are hired, do they furnish their own tools?
They furnish some of their own tools. Anything that's under 3/4 of an inch racket size or less, they furnish their own. The rest of the tools are supplied by the county.
Okay, so this tool replacement, is it for the shop or the techs?
It's for both. So if we see anything that's not working or not in good working order, it's the techs, then that will get replaced. And they get reimbursed for that if it's their own tool. If it's the county's tool, then we would just replace that as well.
Okay, could that also be used to supply some of the techs with tools that when they're hired with their tools, don't have the proper tools?
Generally, there's a certain list of tools that, and this is standard throughout the industry, there's a standard list of tools that mechanics are required to supply themselves as part of coming on as an employee, and that's pretty consistent throughout the industry.
I just think, I mean, I've had wrenches for 20 years. They don't wear out. So, I mean, I guess I was just wondering how all this places, where it goes and what tools we're replacing.
Yeah, I think on some of the, with ADOS, I think they've seen some of the tools that look like they had where some of the handles were worn down and they were getting pretty particular. So we just want to make sure that in that annual inventory time that we're really taking a look and doing a closer inspection of the tools at the same time.
No further questions. Thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
Troy, thank you. How much money do we give our mechanics every year to support them on their tool inventory?
They can get up to $800 in reimbursement.
Okay. Okay, and that still seems to be adequate with our mechanics?
Haven't had any issues or had any complaints come up regarding that.
Okay, thank you.
That's every year? That's good.
Up to. If they replace something, show the receipt, then they get their reimbursement for it.
Okay. Thank you, Troy. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt a revised Public Works Department policy number PWS 011.
And I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve item 4G. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Item 4H is information, discussion, action to adopt Public Work Department policy number PWS 021, tool safety and inspection, which replaces policy DPW 07-01, equipment safety policy. Troy.
Thank you, Chairman. Supervisors, again, this is along that same vein. This one did have some pretty major revisions so that we would be closer aligned with the regulation that's concerning tool safety within OSHA. The three major components of these changes include, again, hand tools as part of the equipment that we're inspecting. Also, we're testing the employees' knowledge on some of the equipment just to make sure that they have the knowledge to work pieces of equipment. I guess that came up during the inspection. And then specific examples are listed in here of when tools are to be replaced. So during that annual inspection period, what are you looking for? What would qualify for a replacement of a tool? So those are kind of identified in here to give the managers examples of what they're looking for.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, no further questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Troy, I know we've talked about this through the years I've been here, but do we have any of our mechanics going through recertification processes or working on new certifications for whatever it may be?
We do have training that we try to get each of our employees each year. I know a lot of the equipment, the manufacturers, if we have a new piece of equipment we haven't taken in before, the manufacturers will offer training on that, so we get the employees trained on that. A lot of times, you know, with your regular, what we call vanilla fleet, your cars and your trucks and stuff like that, there are research that they go through with that if they're updating software or updating any of the testing equipment that goes on those. So we have a pretty good training program within our fleet department.
And our folks seem to be wanting to take advantage of that and use it. I mean, and work up in it. I mean, is there interest in it?
Yeah, I think for the most part, most of the mechanics are very interested. They take this very passionately. They love what they do, and any training that you can get on from my experience, they're all for it.
This is one thing that has been real important to me, because we can take these young folks, whether they're just out of high school or they're looking for something else, we train them up and we put the time and effort into them, and then with the hopes that someday they're going to be the shop foremans. They're going to be the ones that's there in charge. And this has been something that I've really had a big interest to keep going and hoping that we're taking advantage of all this. We've, as a county, I mean, this board has made a commitment to support training over the years, so I'm hoping our folks are doing that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Troy. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to adopt Public Works Department Policy Number PWS-021, Tool Safety and Inspection as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Item 4I, information discussion action to adopt Public Works Department policy number PWS 022, hazard communication and chemical safety, which replaces policy number DPW 10-02.
Thank you, Chairman. Board, this one had some very minor revisions to it, just again to align with the OSHA regulations in here. It deals with material safety data sheets and who's responsible for maintaining those. We have to identify somebody that's responsible in each division, so we made that the responsibility of the division managers. And really, that's the only changes here, is just to identify that area of responsibility for these.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Troy, will those be reviewed quite often
The material safety data
to
sheets.
make sure we're up to snuff on that?
Yeah, every time, and that's why we wanted to have an assigned person that's responsible for this, but every time you bring in any new chemical, it should be, the safety data sheet should be updated at the same time.
The material safety data sheets is real important. If something was to go wrong, you know, they're gonna go digging at us to see what we missed. And if somebody's, you're absolutely right. Having somebody in charge of that is really, really important. So, thank you.
Thank you, Troy. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt Public Works Department policy number PWS-022 as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Last one, Troy. Item 4J, information discussion action to adopt Public Works Department policy number PWS-023, hazardous energy control / lockout tagout, which replaces policy number DPW 10-01.
Thank you, Chairman. Board, again, this was a minor revision as well. Our previous policy didn't really include the energy control for heavy equipment, and that is required, is that you have to have energy equipment covered in your energy control process or procedures. So we've modified this lockout tagout to include the process and procedures for locking out and tagging out heavy equipment. And that's what was added to this.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions.
Supervisor Klein.
What's an example of that, Troy?
Let's say you're working on a lawnmower and you bring a lawnmower into the shop. You actually, once you start working on that, you're gonna start getting into it. You actually have to lock that machine out to ensure that if the mechanic that's working on it steps away for whatever reason, and he's got gas lines open or whatever, somebody can't come in and inadvertently start the machine. It can't inadvertently be, started, or somebody else doesn't know where it's at in the process and they come in and think that it's drivable or whatever. So you actually have to make sure that that piece of equipment is cordoned off, locked out, and tagged out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And with that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to adopt Public Works Department policy number PWS-023 as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Mr. White, for all that. And we're down to item 4K. It's information discussion action to approve economic development agreement number 04072025 between Gila County and the Rim Country Mountain Bike Association in the amount of $8,025 to purchase the 3 remaining trail gates for the Highline Trail, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public. This is my item, but I know that we all support trails and everything, and we're getting kind of down to the end of the money. So I decided I'd just go take care of this. It's probably the easiest way to go. I think we have with us Trevor Crichton and Angie Abel. And the trails in northern Gila County, which is where this is this particular trail is a very famous trail, the Highline Trail. A lot of volunteers working on it. There's 3 barbed wire fences that these gates will provide an easier access through the barbed wire fences rather than the regular barbed wire cattle fences that you encounter when you're out there. And so it probably add to the safety of getting the gates closed and ease of opening and shutting them. And they're kind of expensive, but they're a pretty nice gate, all metal, has logo on it, Highline Trail, and all of that stuff. So we have with us, so the money's going to channel through this bike association, but it's going to benefit everyone. So Trevor, Angie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, we're super excited at to announce that the Highline Trail at this point is completely rideable, accessible to all users, hikers, equestrians, and mountain bikers. All of the major reroutes are completed. Big kudos to Tonga National Forest and the National Forest Foundation for just kind of leading the charge on that effort. It's an amazing 60 some odd miles stretch of trails with the 260 trailhead all the way to mine.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, I wished I could see a picture of one of these gates, because the old zigzag gates can't be left open. I mean, they're always open. You just got to zigzag through them. And so something that someone can leave open,
I don't
kind
know.
of concerns me. So I was looking through my deal to see a picture of this new and approved gate, but it would concern me if someone could just leave it open, because that's one of the major problems on some cattle ranches is people leaving gates open and animals being able to change pastures. But that's my only question.
The benefit of these gates, a lot of these gates are already on, but these are the three remaining gates. The regular type barbed wire setups, there's a couple, they're kind of, for lack of a better term, janky, right? And they're not easy to open and close, and so the gates that we're putting on, they swing. There's just one simple latch. It's definitely something that I think people are more akin to close behind them, other than something that you kind of have to fuddle and fiddle with to make sure that it's back the way it was when you got there.
Okay, I guess then, because you're just replacing made barbed wire gates. Okay, I was thinking, like on most trailheads where they have the zigzag barbed wire, and then it goes off of both ways, so you can just zigzag through it and cattle won't. And so that's what I had pictured in my mind. So yeah, if these are just like drive-through gates that you open, I can understand making them easier to open, but the ones that you just zigzag through, that's what I had pictured in my mind. So thank you.
Do you have an image that of what the gate looks like? It seems like I've seen an image, but it's not in our packet. Say that again, Angie.
We didn't have a picture in the packet that we sent you.
Okay, that's where I saw it, yeah. Okay, I can look for that real quick. Supervisor Klein?
How wide are these gates?
So standard for non-motorized trail is 48 inches to allow for mountain bikers and the equestrians. So they're designed at that where it pinches off to where equestrians with saddlebags would clear these gates.
Oh yeah, good deal.
A standard Forest Service design.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about with pack animals, so. No, thanks for the help on that, and Supervisor Christensen, I'd help you out, but it's at the end of the year for me.
Yeah, it's the end of the year, and I understand that, and I no problem with that at all. So we'll tackle something later on. So thanks for all of that, and if there isn't any more questions, I think Melissa might be trying to find a photograph of one. I know I've seen one. Anyway, with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Economic Development Agreement Number 04072025 as presented, and which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thanks, guys, for coming. And now we'll move on to item 5, which is the consent agenda action items. Items 5A through M. Supervisor Humphrey, is there any or all that you would like to remove off of there for separate discussion?
No, I have nothing to pull off today, thank you.
Okay, how about you, Supervisor Klein?
No, I think I've said my piece on what I need to discuss. I'm good.
Okay, then I will call for a motion to approve consent agenda items 5A through M.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Call to the public is item number 6. Is there anyone in Globe here that wishes to speak? We can't have any action. There's nothing we're going to do other than if you want to speak. No? Cassandra, we're good, and I don't believe anyone's in Payson either. So we'll move on now to our next item, which is our report. We'll start with the county manager.
Nothing further today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Attended a project team meeting with Troy and staff from Public Works on April 30th. Attended the Lincoln Day dinner on May 3rd. Held the Gysena community meeting on May 3rd. We'll hold a Tono Basin community meeting this evening at 5. I'll hold a Roosevelt community meeting on the 12th, be on KQSS on the 12th, and also will be attending the town meeting, Town of Miami and Council. They're going to be awarding the, I think, Miami varsity team because they helped people out of a burning home and put out a fire. It was really great. They did a lot of good things to help that family before the fire department got there. So that's a great thing to see young people with that much motivation. And I will meet with Michael O'Driscoll and team on May 14th. And perhaps maybe Mr. Minlove if his schedule allows. And so that's all for me.
Thank you, Supervisor Klein.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Last week I attended the first of, I believe there's 4 total ad hoc committees from the state legislature. It was a good meeting, had a lot of discussion, good discussion. It was a 2.5-hour meeting. The next one will be in Payson. And for those of you who don't know, but this is on fire mitigation, insurance issues, things of that nature. One of the main players on this board is with the insurance companies as well. So that all went real well. And I look forward to the other meetings we're going to have as well. So, and other than that, coming up this Friday, I'll be in Mesa, me and Kathy both, for a luncheon that's presenting Representative Marshall with an award for his involvement in veteran issues and whatnot, his support. So,
good deal. Thank you for that. And I also was at the Lincoln Day dinner. It was good, a lot of people. I will be attending the Gila College graduation from, I guess, the northern campus. That'll be tomorrow night. I was invited, so I'll be there for that. And I would say that Mr. Marshall spoke with me on Saturday night and told me of an insurance company that is insuring people where others are dropping because of the fire things. And so that information is available through him. And that's something. And so that's all I have. So if there's nothing else, then we're going to go to item 8. Executive.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
And you said you spoke with Representative Marshall on insurance, and that's through him?
No. To be clear, he encountered a problem with his insurance rates, and he found a company.
Oh, okay, but
that information you can get from him as far as what that company is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have it.
Okay, then
But I
also
don't
get
want
it
to
from you.
promote any particular business necessarily, but he does have something that he could share.
you want us to email it to you, Tim?
But there's a lot of people listening that are having a difficult time getting insurance and all of a sudden there's a hidden insurance company somewhere that you get a hold of a state representative and get. So anyway, that's all I was getting at. So, no, I've got insurance. I'm good, but some of my constituents don't have.
Count your blessings right now.
But if they contact me, I have his number.
Yeah, so, that is a hot topic right now. Okay, let's go ahead and go to item number 8, executive session items. We have 8A and B to discuss, and so I'm going to call for a motion to go into executive session to address both of those items.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to dismiss into executive session. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. County managers and the board's written consent of the county attorney's office representing the board in the executive sessions regarding the employment contract between Gila County and Mr. W. James Menlove. Item 8B, we will also be discussing information, discussion, and action to enter into executive session for discussion or consultation for legal advice the board's attorneys regarding the Telecommunications Act and other regulations in reference to communication towers in Gila County. So that's what we're going to be discussing. And we are adjourned. So it's just a couple of minutes past 12. We're reconvening now from our executive session into the Board of Supervisors room. There's no action that is needed on item 8B, but on 8A, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign affidavit to authorize the county attorney's office to represent Board of Supervisors in employment contract with Mr. James Mint.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.